The Dark Knight has risked the life of his son on a long shot. Will it pay off? Well, let's hop into the pages of Batman issue number 81 and find out for ourselves, shall we? Alrighty then, so picking up from where the last issue left off, Thomas Wayne, aka the Flashpoint Batman, was tasked with killing young Damian Wayne Robin in retaliation for his son re-entering the city. It was left rather open-ended whether he would do it or not, considering he had a surprise face turn out of frickin' nowhere in the previous issue, and maybe he wouldn't have gone ahead with it either. Ultimately, it doesn't matter because the whole Bat family minus Nightwing shows up to stop him. Yes, that's right, they all made it into the impenetrable city. Why? Well, that's what this entire issue is about. Batman painstakingly saying how he ultimately had the best plan all along, and how all those times he looked stupid and incompetent and a danger to himself and others. No man, that was only like half the story. Actually, it was the smarterest, bestest plan ever. Way betterer than Bane's plan, and in fact, much like the issue wherein Bane stopped everything to painstakingly talk about his plan, Batman is gonna do the exact same here. You know, it's poetry, it rhymes. Alright, so where do we even start with this? You'll remember way back multiple volumes ago now when Batman thought he was going crazy and he ended up backhanding his young teenage ward Tim Drake. Well, that wasn't him being an unfit guardian and completely over-emotional. No, you see, the Bat family has special cues. Hitting Tim in the face was a signal to let everyone know that they were being watched and listened to by Gotham Girl, and that to communicate they were going to have to be a lot more secretive. Batman fails to mention that he also hit poor old Jim Gordon in the face while wearing glasses. I guess the commissioner was in on it too, wasn't he? Furthermore, Batman had been in contact with Damian and actually did give him the go-ahead to enter the city. Even doing so was breaking laws put down by the president, and I guess Tim was in on it too, despite the fact that Tim and Damian argued. No, that just wasn't a poor attempt at faking out the audience, it was to try and trick Gotham Girl. Yeah, and her super hearing and her Superman level powers, all of this has been to get around her. It took the whole Justice League to defeat her and her brother, despite the fact that Batman has literally already defeated her twice, and the fact that her powers burn her out every time she uses them. And oh, this is a big one too, the last time Batman had seen Gotham Girl in that big Heroes in Crisis Flash crossover, she had amnesia. In fact, a lot of the storytelling in this issue doesn't gel with that crossover, which admittedly Tom King himself did not write but would had to have overseen. You see, Batman always knew that Bane was behind it all. He was just playing dumb and incompetent this whole time. He let Bane beat him up, make him seem like he was broken. You know, except for the fact that his body and mind totally were broken, and the whole point of the last couple arcs were him rebuilding himself. But no, I guess none of that mattered then. Batman was just playing possum. Furthermore, Batman talks about how he was on top of everything and how his plan was so much better than Bane's plan, and he considered everything. What about Nightwing getting shot in the head? I noticed you don't mention that. One new thing we do hear about this issue is Super Venom. Yes, a serum so powerful and amazing, it's what gave Gotham and Gotham Girl their powers, cause yes, Bane was behind that too. Batman says that he destroyed all the Super Venom during his last crossover with Flash, even though if you read that story, he seemed rather uninterested in all of that and didn't even say the words Bane. Also, there was one shipment of Super Venom left that he wanted to experiment on in hopes of trying to cure Gotham Girl, and that's the stuff that Magpie stole and was trying to sell back to Bane, but they got it. In the end though, not that anything Gotham Girl did actually mattered, because she burnt herself out and got too sick to actually take part in this fight right now. Then you got the United Bat family who wonders if they should kill Thomas Wayne as retaliation for what happened to Alfred. Oh yeah, he's still dead, everyone, despite all of this. Batman's perfect plan didn't take that into account either. Huntress wants to jump the murder gun, which I think is just hilarious that Tom King is still under the impression that post-DC Rebirth Huntress is this big a part of the Bat family when she totally is not. Now wait, you're probably saying, if Batman planned for everything, what about the people who have already been hurt / killed in the city of Bane so far? Well, Batman had a contingency for that. You see, Clayface has actually been masquerading as the Joker the whole time. Don't stop and consider that people still died and got hurt in the city of Bane anyway, or the fact that Clayface was actually on the outs with the Bat family the last time they saw them, because this won't be brought up again. Also, despite Thomas Wayne being surprised and being outnumbered and getting beaten down for the majority of this issue, he's fine. He leaves A-OK and goes to have some tea with the ventriloquist. Because, you know, he's Batman too, and he has plans and plans for plans, and this isn't over yet as the comic comes to a close. And so that was Batman issue number 81, everybody. If you couldn't tell, I thought this one was more of a mess than usual. It honestly doesn't read much like an actual story at all. Nothing that's happening on the panel is particularly important. It reads like we've actually just gotten to see Tom King's own story notes. I'm sure some will say that it had to be this way because he had to rush and he couldn't properly weave the rest of his story threads, but the fact of the matter is I think this issue would have ended up being this way regardless. Because, well, he basically already did this type of story when Bane told us all his plan in a previous issue, but at least that had visually interesting stuff going on. I personally always enjoyed John Romita Jr.'s work, but he thrives in gritty, bloody fighting, not in big, talky exposition. Also, and I'm sure I'm not going to be alone on this one, but the whole idea that Batman was always on top of everything and always has a plan, doesn't that kind of undercut the so-called more down-to-earth, human, relatable Batman that people who like this series from Tom King keep telling me that he was trying to do here? You can't say that he was brought low to his own personal heart of darkness and forced to have an epiphany and rebuild himself when it was actually all part of his big super plan all along. Overall, I'd give this a 4.
Hey there everyone, Cape Joel again, and I want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you see, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. It really helps drive engagement and helps me out too. Also, if you are a patron, which you can become for as little as $1 a month, you will get exclusive content that no one else can ever see, and you'll get to see the Comic Multiverse podcast before anyone else too. You can check out all this and more down in the description. And until next time everyone, this has been Cape Joel, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.